My landlord refused to let me break my lease when I needed to move, so I made him honor every single maintenance request in the contract. My landlord Frank had once told a tenant with cancer that dying wasn't a valid reason to break a lease. That's what the rumors had said, but I thought they were exaggerating and moved into this building with an open mind. Frank's true nature showed during the summer heat wave when the AC died and my apartment hit 95 degrees. He informed me he'd fix it within the legal 30-day window while he sat in his air-conditioned office counting rent money. But the heat was too much, so I bought a window unit with my own money. Frank showed up the next day threatening eviction for unauthorized property modifications and literally forced me to remove it by threatening eviction. Then he waited exactly 29 days to fix the AC, texting me daily reminders about patience being a virtue while I slept on sweat-soaked sheets. The parking situation was even worse. My lease included one parking spot and my car never left it, but Frank started slapping warning stickers on my windshield claiming he didn't recognize the vehicle. He demanded I register my license plate weekly through his personal app that charged $2 per registration. When I complained, he pulled out the lease and pointed to the fine print that said parking was subject to management discretion and said I should be grateful he allowed me to park at all. He finally crossed the line when I asked to move out. My mom's diagnosis had shown early onset dementia that was advancing fast, but she lived 3 states away completely alone, so I wanted to go support her. I went to Frank's office with medical documents, power of attorney paperwork, even a heartbreaking video of my mom asking who I was, begging him to let me out of the lease to care for her. Frank just pointed to his framed lease on the wall and said, "There's an $8,000 termination fee, non-negotiable." I explained I couldn't afford both the fee and her care, that she was scared and confused and needed me, that I was her only family. He leaned back in his leather chair and said the words that would destroy him. "You signed a contract, honor it." The way he said it with this little smirk like he'd won something while my mom was forgetting my name, that's when something inside me went cold. I sat at my kitchen table that night with the 47-page lease I'd signed without reading past page 3, because nobody reads past page 3, and Frank knew it. But fury is a hell of a motivator. I read every subsection, every addendum, and every piece of small print he thought would never matter. Subsection 14, B required 24-hour response to comfort concerns. Section 22-D mandated professional carpet cleaning upon tenant request, with no limit specified. Addendum K stated all appliances must maintain factory performance standards. The more I read, the more I realized Frank had been violating his own contract since day one, betting nobody would ever call him on it. He wanted me to honor the contract. I was going to honor every single word until he choked on them. The next morning, I called Frank about a comfort concern at 6 a.m. because the thermostat read 71 and I was uncomfortable. Frank ignored it, so I sent a certified letter citing the violation and the $500 daily penalty clause for non-compliance that he'd written into the lease to punish tenants, but forgot it worked both ways. Suddenly, he had to fix it or pay me $500 a day. Then I requested professional carpet cleaning for allergen mitigation on Monday morning, and again Tuesday, and again Wednesday, because the lease said upon request with no frequency limit. By Thursday, I'd identified 17 appliances performing below factory standards, including the dishwasher being too loud, the microwave taking 8 seconds longer than specifications, and the garbage disposal vibrating excessively. All technically true, and all requiring immediate repair or triggering more penalties. Frank called screaming so loud, I held the phone away from my ear. "You are a parasite. Those clauses aren't real. They're just there to make the lease look thorough." I recorded him admitting he'd never intended to honor those bullshit clauses, and immediately forwarded it to his lawyer with a note about pursuing fraud charges. Frank's own attorney told him to comply with everything or face criminal prosecution. Other tenants saw what I was doing and started forcing Frank to do even more repairs. On week 3, he showed up at my door, shirt soaked with sweat, face purple with rage, actually shaking as he screamed about bankruptcy, about losing everything, about how I was destroying his life. I stayed calm and said his own words back to him. "You signed a contract, honor it." He lunged at me but stopped himself, knowing assault charges would end everything. That day, he broke completely. He finally came back to me with a full lease release, with no penalty and moving costs covered, hands actually trembling as he slid it across the table, whispering, "Please, just sign it and leave." Frank now lets anyone break their lease for free because he starts shaking when they pull out the paperwork.